This is part 7 of my journey through the justice system. At the end of part 6, I was playing some of the hearing which took place on March 8th, 2021, and the hearing was a little over 1 hour, and the video cut off at the very end. So this is where it left off from that hearing. You can hear I tell the judge that I don't want to be another statistic, and she doesn't care and just dismisses it. So this is the end part of that hearing now.
Why I had to,
So let me finish with him.
Okay,
Because
and then I would
spent
really
some
like-
time with
yeah.
you.
because I wanted to do it where we just
This isn't
strictly
even
use.
about visitation.
Stop.
I wanted to do it where we strictly use a parenting app and it's court monitored. So that's one of the things when I filed for the modification last week that's going to be on there, that this way all this can be avoided and the court can see all communications. 'Cause
So are you currently employed?
I just lost my job this week because she emailed the boss that same next day after all this happened. She emailed the boss's wife pretending to be me using a fake number saying, hey, I want to go on a date with you, blah, 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 blah. This is Matt Lodis. And then I lost my job this week because
You've
of that.
got to be kidding me.
I'm not. This is.
You
this
really
stuff-
believe that? Please let me know when it's my turn to talk.
Okay, so what proof do you have of that?
I don't. My boss got a random text the same day that all this went down saying that I want to go on a date with you. Like, why would I text my boss's?
So was it shown to you where that came from?
Yeah, it was a fake number. One of those dummy numbers that she uses to call me all the time with. It's constant.
Where did you work?
We worked at Casanova Remodeling. She's the office manager. I was one of the sales guys.
This is what?
A remodeling company, home improvements, roofing, siding, windows, that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. What else do you have to share with me before I finish her?
She says that I say all these things, but she just told me she hopes I die, my children dies, my mother's dies, and I have all this I can get printouts from our parenting app because I archived everything. She also said that the daughter got pulled out of daycare because the teacher and that's not what happened. The daughter got taken out of daycare is because when she found out about this, she went there and made a scene.
That's
and
not
was
true
yelling
at
and
all.
swearing.
That's not true. They gave me an opportunity to have a
Stop.
meeting, and I said, no, I don't want her going there anymore.
Stop.
I just want us to get
Is
along.
this relationship over?
This relationship is over.
Okay. And in your mind, when was it over?
When was it over? I mean, I guess February last month, maybe January.
So
Last month, but you were dating the teacher in December? That makes sense.
Well,
Go ahead
obviously we
and
split.
good liars got to have a good memory.
We split, but I still kind of hope that maybe one day we could rekindle. But
That's a lie.
Okay.
obviously,
Your daughter's 22 months old.
yes,
Okay. And so you currently live at your mom's house.
I do.
And you two have a court order as it relates to your child.
we do. But our court order is very vague as far as visitation. It says parents will figure out visitation
All
at their
right, so in a
discretion.
modification, one of the things you can do is get more specificity on the ultimate order so that it's prescribed what time, et cetera, et cetera. As it relates to the issue of child support, you continuing to pay it?
I have paid it. This is the first week I have yet to give it to her because I don't have a job and I don't have any money right now. I plan on paying it. I'm going to try to pay it before the end of this week. But it's the first week I've been paying it up until I owed her yesterday. So
Okay.
up until yesterday.
All right, anything else?
I mean, everything that I can get, I can get printouts of all our communications because when we're using the app and the emails, there's just constant ups and downs. Every time that she gets upset with me, it's retaliation. And all I want to do is just be able to get along for our daughter, like I said. And if we have to just only communicate for email, I'm fine with that.
Which app were you using?
WePay, right? Is that what it's called?
Was it court order?
It wasn't yet. We were just doing it because we just obviously are like this when we're trying to talk any other way. So I thought if we were doing it through the app, at least there would be less hostilities because it could be seen.
And so then what happened with the
The
app?
problem was the app was in her name, so she set it up so that when she got mad at me, she was able to just delete me from it, and then I couldn't see it anymore. And that's what happened 2 weeks ago, and that's why I've been making her email me and not call me.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I would just like to say that Matthew has an extensive history of domestic abuse, domestic violence. He's had several restraining orders and protective orders on him in the past with his ex-wife. He's been to jail. He has an extensive record. He's a history of lying, a history of being manipulative.
as far as what you were saying before about our daughter, we had sat down with our boss, and this was back in October. We sat down for a few hours, for a few days in a row, where he was acting as the mediator, and he said to us, like, he was going to fire him back then, and he said, if we can come up with some kind of schedule and everything, we'll type it out, we'll sign it. We did that.
Why was he going to fire?
Because there was a lot of trouble that was happening at work because of everything that was going on, where he was refusing to take the baby, and my boss was getting in the middle of it. So he said to us, like, you know, if we can just kind of work something out where you guys sit down, talk it out, make an agreement, because, like I said, you know, the court order, it says we're supposed to work it out week by week. So we typed up an agreement where it said, like, you know, he'd give me the right of first refusal.
And your boss takes that role?
The boss just kind of brought us together, and then he left and let us meet together. So we had made an agreement, which was saying it was going to be a rotating schedule. We were going by that for a while. But then after the baby, which, like I said, he was having an affair with the teacher, was 19 years old at the school. The teacher was also taking my child out of the school without the school's knowledge, which goes against their policies. So we had in our agreement that we signed, which stated that he would give me the right of first refusal if it was his time with her and he couldn't take her. I then found out from the school that the teacher said that Matt privately texted her and said, take my daughter home. The teacher didn't tell the school. She didn't tell anybody. She just took.
So let's separate the child custody issue.
Well, yeah. So like I said, so he's saying that I flipped out. That's not true. The school then said to me, "We're very sorry. We know that everything was wrong. We can have a meeting with you if you want to discuss how we're going to handle things in the future." I said no. I said I don't want to meet with you guys. You guys had severe neglect for my daughter here by letting this happen. So they said, fine. If you don't want to meet with us, we're going to dismiss her. So I said, fine. I don't want her going here anyways.
She then filed harassment.
Like I said, after that, at that point, which was then I had the restraining order hearing with him where it didn't go through. He has a history of domestic violence and everything like that. So in the end of January, that's when he tried coming to my house and he said, I'm going to show up with a police escort. He also called DCF and he said that he wanted to try to take my custody away and everything like that. So since then, he did not see my daughter for 4 weeks straight.
Okay.
He didn't see or talk to her for 4 weeks.
Stop. All right. I've made my decision. I'm going to dismiss the matter. I'm not going to extend this restraining order. I am going to tell both of you that you have a court order as it relates to your child support and your custody arrangement. You guys need to follow that because that's the court order. If you're seeking a modification only until a modification occurs, can you make a different decision? If, however, as it relates to the visitation, it poses an issue that ultimately raises a concern because you two operate in such a way that you can't get along and whether you're concerned for your well-being or not because of the dynamic of your relationship, that's a separate thing. Visitation is not... it's really something you do out of the best interest of your child. If you can't come to an agreement until you have your court date on that. As it relates to the child support, you have an obligation to continue to pay that, and that's required. But based on the evidence that's been provided to me at this point, I don't find it credible that there's a preponderance of the evidence that there's a continuous threat of physical pain, physical injury, stalking, or patting or threatening. Remedially, I will say to you this, though. You realize that you guys have a very tense relationship, and your communication matters, your presence and where you are matters. What you say, whether it's through text or through email, matters from both of you, and you need to act accordingly. Do not go to her house at all. Understood?
Okay. And
do not use any communication that would be deemed to be threatening towards her. Understand?
Yes.
Okay. And if what you have in common is a 22-month-old who you're going to have in common until she's 18. And she needs direction from both of you and love and caring that's going to make her the best young lady that she can be. And that's what your focus needs to be. So the relationship is over. Yes?
I don't want to become another statistic. And if he says the relationship is over, why are you opposed to putting in where he can't stalk, harass, assault, follow me? It showed it, like, if you see the full emails, you would have seen where I said, I would like to confirm, Until we go to court, you're insisting you want to take me to court.
If for some reason additional facts come up at another point,
Like what?
that makes
I
his
become a
behavior-
statistic or something. Nobody takes this seriously. They're just going to listen to him. Why can't we ban him from stalking me like he did? He said, I see the Lexus in your driveway. I see this, and showing me the pictures. After he said that, he said, I'm not taking the baby anymore. I'm not paying you child support anymore. All because he saw a car in my driveway. A week before that, he was sending me money on Venmo saying, here's for you to make you smile, and he's begging me to come sleep over his house. And because I turned him down, then he sees another car in my driveway. The only reason he saw that car was because he drove by multiple times. And all I want him to do is to not be able to stalk me anymore. Where if he had a restraining order, then it would have been an arrest, and then he wouldn't do it. He's trying so hard to get it dropped because he wants to be able to come there and hurt me. And I don't feel safe. I don't want to be a statistic. And I just feel I disagree with this, and I feel like I have another daughter who lives at my house too. He's come to my house so many times unannounced. I understand if you don't want to make it no contact, that's why I asked for limited contact, where it's limited to email only about the child. I don't want him emailing me, sending me pictures of him and the babysitter, telling me all these names and harassing me.
I just described that to him, okay? And in the event
But he's still allowed to stalk me.
Stop. In the event that changes, you can come and apply to the court again. But based on
This is my second time.
Based on the back and forth that we've experienced here today, the court finds within it several instances in which I'm thinking that there are things that you're saying and doing that creates a little bit of culpability on your part too, in terms of what's being stated in these texts and these emails.
Like what?
So I've made my decision as it relates to that. If, however, at a later date it raises to a concern for you, you're always welcome to refile.
Yep. Hopefully we'll put on the record that I said I don't want to be another statistic. I don't feel safe, so that when that does happen, then maybe you guys could feel accountable.
All right. She's going to leave the courthouse first, and then you'll go, okay?